Hi, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my review of Salt Lake City Housewives Reunion. Season 5, one of the best seasons, right? I guess Jen Shaw's season was good. I think that they've had a good seasons sprinkled out, especially Mary coming back. And she was the reason why I started watching it in the first place, but then it didn't catch me the first season and I just left it alone. Now, of course, clips are around and we know what's going on, but I didn't fully watch an episode until season 5. Glad that I started there. Episode 1 of the reunion, I didn't recap because, you know, it's all over the internet. I tried to stay away, but I didn't. I mean, you could call that, you could call that reunion liar, liar, pants on fire for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Todd sticking up for Gwen and sticking up for his wife, I think that's commendable, but Bronwyn, you lied. And Lisa, the fact that you ride in hard for people you barely know, it's weird. You always make yourself a victim. It's weird. You're weird. She gives me the egg. So anyway, we are going to recap episode reunion part 2. We're going to talk about that lady that had a dry face and was green with envy. We're going to talk about that lady that is always trying to catch you in something because she's so scarred. We're going to talk about men who try to be in women's business and it falls flat and don't apologize. We're going to talk about it all. And I want you to follow. I want you to like, subscribe so we can discuss it together. Come along with me. So I have my notes. I am not live reacting this reunion because there was a lot of technical difficulties that I had. And like my speech, like what the hell was going on with that? Anyway. And, you know, I'm going to try to not be long-winded. I'm not going to try. I have my notes like Meredith. You know, I have my notes. Any whoosies. I'm going to be looking down. I'm going to be looking down often. So just let me know where my points don't land and discuss it in the comments. And then we're going to figure out what we all thought about part 2 of this reunion. Okay. So the first episode of the 3-part reunion, it left off with John trying to wear big boy pants. It was weird. It kind of fell flat because Todd had that same tone the whole time he was talking to everybody else. What, he's supposed to change it because he's talking to Lisa? Whatever. Where was your big boy pants when he was throwing you out his rented home in Palm Springs? Do I need some ginkgo? Like, what the heck is going on with my speech? Like, that was, whatever. That was, his little interaction was just so exhausting. I looked at him and I was like, whatever. Bronwyn, babe. I'm sorry to tell you, even your husband said it. Like, Lisa was never your friend like that. I don't know where you thought she was your friend like that, but she wasn't your friend like that. Like I wrote down here, I said, I think Bronwyn came in with preconceived notions of what. Now, I do believe Heather gagged me with a spoon. I do believe Heather when she said Bronwyn is a fan. I don't think she was a fan gunning to come on like Brittany and Monica. But I do believe that Bronwyn knew what was going on because she was, you know, sprinkled throughout. I'm assuming I heard that they were testing her and it didn't work out. I know she watched the show. I don't know if she watched it in its entirety. But she knew these ladies, but she knew Lisa more. I have to give it up to Bronwyn in part 1 as well, when she said, yes, I want my relationship with Lisa trumped everybody. It trumped me getting to know all the rest of you. I can commend her for that, but I can also call her a liar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. She came in with preconceived notions of loyalty from Lisa. When they had that breakdown, even her husband said she's a social friend. Even Lisa says we're not friends like that. And I want to touch on Lisa and Bronwyn and the grandparents and the whole situation. And I'm not going to hold you too long about it either. Lisa Barlow is a very surface person. That doesn't take away from her being a good wife. That doesn't take away from her being a good mother. She's surface from what she's giving us on TV. You know what I'm saying? They're wonderful people. Now, these people must be like up in the Mormon church board of directors putting in the 1%ers of the 1%ers or something for Lisa to like, because that's where her loyalty lies. When Bronwyn first came on the screen, she says, Bronwyn has the best fashion, Bronwyn is this, she's the good time, and blah, 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 and that's why we hang out together. There was no depth of her introduction of Bronwyn. Bronwyn presented herself as, I'm a fashionista, it's 40 degrees in Utah, and I'm wearing underwear. Fashionable underwear, I'm assuming. That whole thing probably cost like $15,000. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not from Shein or Temu, so there you go. And I just thought Bronwyn thought that their relationship would hold tighter than her and the other girls. Bronwyn came in wanting to be a mean girl with Lisa, and it fell flat. Let's call it. If she knows Lisa on this show and she knows Lisa outside this show, because I do believe Bronwyn watched, and I want to say she just wanted to be in the crew, just much like Heather. She wanted to be in the crew because I know Lisa, we're friends, we're going to have a good time on this show, we're going to call BS out together, and that's not what happened, babe. That is not what happened. And going back to the grandparents thing, they keep saying John's like she brought it up on camera. Yeah, okay. Producers were there. She told them, I don't want this on the show. Whatever portion they took out, they took out. We still don't know what that man looks like. We still don't know his name. I'm sure people in Utah know who he is and the family. They gotta be somebody to not have that leaked anywhere for me to find it. And I ain't digging that deep. I'm sure if somebody took a deep dive somewhere, they'll figure it out. I'm not that invested. But what I'm saying is that Lisa is writing for these people because of their status, period. And that sucks. Even if you're a social friend and your friend comes to you and say, oh, let me show you, and I've never showed this to anybody, which you could say, why are you showing it to Lisa? That's another take. Like, why are you showing it to Lisa, of all people? So there's that. And then she's like, she brought it up on camera, but what she did not bring up was their actual notion of, or their thinking of, oh, she had a miscarriage, so we didn't even think Gwen existed. Y'all knew she existed. Y'all just didn't want to deal with her because your son wasn't married to Bronwyn. He was 19 or 20. Bronwyn had to grovel to her own parents because of the Mormon church. Like, it's a lot of shame that they have in that situation. Of course, well, let me don't say of course. I'm not Mormon, so I don't really understand the highs and lows and all of that and what they're not and what they can't do. I mean, Heather tries to tell us all the time, but she makes it a joke. But I'm just saying, it is something that if you're not Mormon and you go through, it starts out as a traumatic situation, especially when you have no one to help you, no one to teach you what to do. It's a traumatic experience. Now, the blessing is the child and what that child becomes. That becomes a good person, a kind person. I mean, which I feel like Gwen is from what we've seen. So the fact that Lisa brought that up in the after show and she cannot and will not accept that she shouldn't have said that. You know what and till the end of the episode, she still didn't apologize for saying it. You know what she said? I'm sorry I F up on a daily, and her fake tears start falling. Please. Anyway, I think I've said it in previous episodes. Meredith loves to hold a grudge. She loves to hold all the things that's happened, put it in her pocket, and then when you're not looking, she throws it at you and was like, this is what you did. And everybody's like, huh? This is what this woman did on the reunion. She brought back that same thing about Brooks and how she used him for leverage to, you know, smooth over the bad press that she was getting from perpetrating and spreading the rumor that somebody else spread. Now, they had this whole back and forth about how Monica has really traumatized these women. Monica said this is what implying that it's Meredith. She is saying that, you know, the men on the Salt Lake streets, the men on the Salt Lake streets are trying to stay quiet, are trying to, you know, bring up that they sleep with Angie's husband, right? Meredith goes ham for absolutely nothing. She turned into a Karen, you know, like how the doctor turns into the Hulk. Meredith turned into a Karen in 2.5 seconds. First of all, it was Andy that gagged me, first of all. The gag is, Andy said, this seems like an entirely waste of time. Which it was, because their whole thing, which I'm sure all the housewives do it, but it's not as transparent as Jersey and Salt Lake City that I see now. They trust in these bloggers so much. They give them full access to perpetrate whatever. And you know who's famous for this? Teresa and Whitney. You perpetrate this thing about whatever somebody else says, you bring it up and you try to either debunk it in a nasty way and say, well, it's just a rumor, I just wanted to know, or you bring it up and try to make it true. Whitney is famous for that. All of them do it, but Whitney does it to another level I just don't understand. And Meredith to a certain extent, because her whole thing is, it's Angie's husband that said this. It's Angie's husband, but she's not holding accountable the podcaster that said, it seems that, which the podcaster is gay, by the way, said it seems like she was X, Y, and Z. And then Angie's husband said, well, Sean, I think his name is Sean. Sean said, well, it seems that way as well. In a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing. It seems that way as well. And then everybody else saw it that way. But what Meredith got up and stormed and attempted to storm off, and she had her husband in the back standing up, getting ready to go. I am leaving. I didn't come here for this. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, if she would just listen. They are trying to explain to you that Monica told her one thing and then Monica told you another. That is all. You and Angie were not friends. You and Angie did not see it for each other last season, from what I can see about it. So it's kind of like, why are you so up in arms, getting ready to leave for this little silliness? And then her notes app is just, please. It was so ridiculous. A lot of people say that Meredith is needed because we need her antics. I'm on the fence. I could take it or leave it. I'm indifferent on that. Like that whole Bronwyn and Whitney made me laugh. Bronwyn was like, I'm so over this. Like, it was so ridiculous. Like, everybody was looking at her like, why are you getting up? I was staring at the screen like, girl, all you got to do is sit down and listen and shut your mouth. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. I don't know. Monica has traumatized these ladies, man. I don't know what that was. Okay. So, we get to the husbands are still there, right? And they go to John and Justin. Justin, I don't know. I'm going to leave that there. I feel like John and Justin didn't really care about this whole fight scenario. I think they just wanted to look. I think Justin was over Lisa and just being like, why are you coming over here screaming? And what is she lying about? Like, what in the world? So they're looking at it together on the recap or whatever with Andy. And the both of them are saying, oh, I thought it was way worse than that. It felt way worse than that. All right, we move on. Seth, about the threesome thing that Whitney brought up at the table. She brought that up on purpose. Let's just be real. Anyway, she said that she was trying to explain like that's the worst thing that she's done and she felt bad about because she brought up her marriage and she knows that, you know, Lisa goes hard for her family. Which I feel like all of them do, but I guess that's why I think Lisa goes harder because she doesn't share her family like that for real. I mean, her son is a minor, so she doesn't really show him like that for real. We know about Vita Tequila. Doesn't she have like a vodka or something? I don't know. Oh, and what does it mean that, you know, I have awards, I have the number one, she didn't say number one. I'm awarded tequila when she was talking to the Todd father. What does it mean when your stuff is only sold in one region? You could get awards in the region, so it's not worldwide. No, that she had to ship it to Mexico. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it because in the beginning when the show started, she said she has multiple businesses, like multiple beverages. I felt like it was something else before Vita. Does she still have that thing, the whatever? So Whitney is trying to apologize to John, and John is kind of like over the whole situation as well. He's like, yeah, I accept it. It's fine. Period. The end. Now let's get into, Andy asked Seth a question about calling Whitney a BR, right? With so much gumption. He starts off this non-apology with, we started day drinking at a certain hour, and when we got to the table, I was just responding to her in a way of showing that this is the proof. This is the proof that you've been asking for. And that's why I said it. And it's just like if I said it to, you know, her husband or to John in the middle of the street, I'll just call them like, you know, to prove a point jokingly, you know, this is what it is, blah. He did not and still did not apologize. So me and Whitney's face was the same. We were looking at him explain it like, and I'm sure Whitney was saying the same thing in her brain that I was like, so when are you going to apologize? Where is the apology? Mind you, he still ain't apologized. Whitney had to say, after he did that whole soliloquy, so are you going to apologize saying it to me, though? Even though you could say it to the men, are you going to apologize for saying it to me, though? He said, yeah, I did. I said I was sorry. You didn't, and you still didn't. So, period. I mean, whatever. I'm Todd. Seth and Meredith, I don't know. They talk about Seth and Meredith's marriage. He gets cringy as usual. He's so cringy. I don't have a side. Andy asked about the side chick comment because people are assuming he has a side chick in Ohio. They asked, he said, oh, I'm in Ohio because that's what does he do? Can somebody tell me what he does? I'm in Ohio and it makes my marriage better because if we're not up on each other 24/7, you know, we can't get each other's nerves. So when we do see each other, it feels like, you know, we can make it like a first date, you know, we can continue dating, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I ain't knocking it. Shirley Lee Ralph she never lived with her husband. And they've been married for over 20 years. So who are we? And then the Todd father chimed in and he's like, you know, I work out of town. I'm in New York. I'm here. I'm there. And, you know, I can attest to it does make things more lively. Then it comes into his emotional affair. I just want to preface that when she talked on the boat, I don't know if it was because I wasn't actively listening. But when she explained the inappropriate relationship is what I'm going to call it, I did not hear the word emotional. However, when they got to the table after the boat, the ladies, when they had that conversation that Meredith didn't like, we're going to get there as well, back to Meredith, and we're going to get there to how she said she didn't like that conversation, and then she came back, she took it out of her pocket and threw it again to Bronwyn, and Bronwyn had to check her. Anyway, so I did not hear the word emotional. I did not hear the word emotional, because when you hear affair, you immediately go to physical. But when they got to the table, everyone was saying emotional affair. Everyone was saying emotional. Heather had to come in with her cape and said, you know, I wrote hard for you. I wrote hard for you because, you know, we really don't know the truth. We're not going to know the truth because Bronwyn does lie. I think she realized she said too much. I feel Bronwyn felt like she said too much, and that's why she's kind of like backtracking on the emotional affair. That whole emotional affair debacle, it's confusing because Bronwyn is kind of like, and I felt Lisa, and I think Lisa is so like guy coded in a way that she always sticks up for the man. She sticked up for Seth when Whitney was trying to explain something, and then she said, because you butt in. Like, no one was even talking to her. Anyway, I digress. I just feel like Todd and her had a conversation. He probably did chastise her a tad, and she was just like, I said what I said, however, I understand, blah, blah, blah. The way that, you know, Bronwyn's, and she takes his feelings into account. She also has to get her feelings out. Blase, 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 blase. That's why I feel she's retracting on the emotional affair. And then here comes Meredith after Heather tried to say, I tried to save you from Lisa and Meredith because I was trying to be a good friend. Because Heather does project. She projects all of her stuff on other people. And the way that she interacts with Todd is weird. I think Bronwyn lies, but she also tells the truth, right? Because she did say Todd loves the mess when she was on Bow Files. She said Todd loves the mess. After he and John went through all of that, he didn't see it for John maybe, but he was cackling and giggling with Lisa, talking about she needs to get him on a tequila tour. He still thinks your tequila is trash. Whatever. Or he likes it and was just being messy on TV. We don't know. So I digress per usual. We're going back to how Meredith, after Heather tried to, you know, say, I wrote so hard for you, and now you're saying that it didn't happen. And here comes Meredith talking about, I felt like you said that I wasn't on your side. I was just trying to both sides it. I mean, that was the point. You were trying to both sides it. You didn't need to both sides it. And then we're not even going to talk about Lisa, because Lisa was like, Todd is going to be so upset when he sees this. And so what? He did it. So he should feel ashamed. Anyway, and then Meredith was like, I just don't understand. You know, I understood where you were coming from. And then the ladies at the table were saying that, you know, that we've had affairs. Like I had an affair, and Lisa, they didn't say we were accused of affairs, and I just didn't like the conversation. And you guys made me, I'm paraphrasing, into the big bad wolf. La-da, la-da, la-da. And come to find out, right? After the boat ride, when they did their separate activities, Bronwyn came up to her on unseen footage. Thank you, production. Bronwyn was like, you know what? I'm sorry. You know, in the moment, I was in my feelings. I understand your point of view. Like, Bronwyn is really trying to be Switzerland in these groups of ladies, right? And the way that she explained herself at the reunion, I commend her, because I understood where she was coming from at that point, in that moment, right? When she was saying, you know, I was very emotional because all you guys know about me is what you think you know about me. And I was trying to be vulnerable and tell you, like, I've been through things as well. It's not just, glitz and glam and $10,000 skirts. It's really, I've been through this thing. And she was really, just how she accused Brittany of word vomit, like, she was really trauma dumping, getting it off her chest. And I do feel like Todd, I don't know. I feel like Todd, Heather stuck up for Todd. Heather stuck up for Todd, right? She stuck up for him. And she said, well, not Heather, Angie. She's like, we go to the gym. He's a great person, XYZ. And Angie said, we go to dinner with the both of them and they are very funny together and blah, 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 blah. And this is response to Heather saying that I don't see you two being loving. And that's when she started projecting. And then come to find out again at the Bar Mitzvah or the Shabbat, the dinner, Todd was sticking up for her. He said, you don't have to, I just want to tell you that you are beautiful and you're smart. And that's what I like about you. You're smart. In addition to your beauty and, the transformation, whether it be enhanced in fake ways or hard work. She worked hard for the money to help her to get to look like that. So kudos to you. I ain't mad at it. But I just feel like from a man's point of view, he was being kind to Heather, even after he may have heard from Bronwyn, which I'm sure he got an earful, of how Heather had treated her. And I think it's not a commend because where's the bar? It's just like Todd sees it for what it is. Like, you gonna be mad at me forever? No, you're not. Like, we're not in each other's lives like that. So it's not really that serious. So I understand where Todd was coming from with Heather. And I just said all of that to explain how Heather projects so much. And then on the other hand, she says something else. In that same situation, she was still talking about Todd and how, was it an emotional affair or wasn't it? And then Bronwyn was just explained, like, I don't even know if I can call it an emotional affair because it was a situation where I want to call it what she should have said. It was just an inappropriate relationship that I was not comfortable with. And at that time when they were filming, I guess the best word to describe it is emotional. I am kind of backing her up on that maybe, but she did switch up the story. Like, just keep it a buck. Now, what really got me is Todd's face when they talked about Gwen and Gwen seeing the text messages on the iPad and Todd looking at Bronwyn like, is that what really happened? Are you sure? I don't remember it going down like that. Or he just never knew. I don't know. It was his facial expressions to Bronwyn was weird. But he got it together and he was like, listen, we go through ups and downs. This is a marriage. And, so on and so forth. And then they talk about the 5 diamond ring carats thingamajiggy and what all of them meant and so on and so forth. Now, back to Meredith with this got you. Like, Bronwyn told her, like, I apologize for, I don't even think she said apologize. She was like just saying her piece about everything, right? On the beach when they were riding horses. And Meredith was like, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that, blah, blah, blah. And then she, at the reunion, she brings it up. Just like I said, she holds it, puts it in her pocket, and waits for the perfect moment to just come out and throw it at you for no reason when you've already talked about it and squashed it. So I understand Bronwyn's confusion. Like, what is this moment that you're trying to have? Are you trying to have your moment now at the reunion when you skate by the whole season? I don't know. Now, baby, we're going to leave the best for last. Mary M. Cosby. I don't know or understand how Meredith could be so stoic in a moment like that. Even Andy cried. And you know what really got me when in that scene with Robert Jr., and I said it in that episode's recap and review, I just said, I shed a tear. That boy said, her son said, I felt like a stain Do you understand? Do you understand what that would do to a parent? I mean, Mary expressed it perfectly. That is how he felt. He did these things to make him feel better, to make him get through life. You know what I'm saying? Every single person, if it didn't even shed one tear or two, they shedded it, right? I don't know about I think the husband's left. Yeah, the husband's left at that time. And I just don't understand why Meredith was just stoic in that the whole scenario, the whole segment. Meredith was stoic and staring straight at Mary and Angie. Now, Angie, again, I didn't watch season 4. I don't know why Mary and Angie didn't get along, but they get along now, baby. And I feel like it's a here to stay situation because I don't know what happened to Mary. I don't know what made her feel so comfortable. She says it's Angie. And I can't remember. I apologize. I can't remember if the friendship was after. So Angie didn't ask Meredith yet about Meredith and Mary's friendship and how Meredith said that she felt used by Mary. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But the whole time that I was thinking about that, while a tear came down my eye, thinking about Robert Jr. and how he felt, and just his courage to even come on camera to say XYZ. Like, he said everything, we hope, right? And her jealousy, her envy of something that she didn't hold dear, because I don't believe she held Mary dear. I don't believe it. And I can say that because maybe I don't have a right to say because I didn't see their relationship in season 4. But Mary was a friend of last season, was she not? I don't know. Anyway, I just feel like Meredith tried to maybe keep her in the group, but still kept her at arm's length. And I think Mary did say that in a way. She just basically said, it's different. It's just different. I understand and I appreciate what you tried to do for me. And I do consider you a friend. Angie is just different. And Meredith, if Mary didn't get, after all of that, now we're going to get into how, I think Andy asked the question and then Meredith was like, yeah, I did feel that you used me. And Mary was like, how? How did I use you? I just felt like you used me for this group and the things that you did. And then all of a sudden now, this ain't what she said, but I'm paraphrasing. Now you're friends with Angie. And we're going to point out Mary's hypocrisy in a minute. But I just didn't understand Meredith's Karen behavior this reunion and her jealousy and envy of Angie and Mary's relationship. You're not really friends with anybody on this, with any type of depth. To the level that Angie and Mary have, you and Mary were never those type of friends. You guys were surface friends, like how you and Lisa are surface friends, and Mary didn't want that. Angie gave her a safe space. Meredith, you gave her a space to exist in your orbit. That's what you gave her. And Mary wasn't comfortable in that. That's my take on it, and I'm standing on it. Now, Mary said a lot of things. She was upset about, but you're saying that I used you. I didn't use you. And then she explained that, their relationships are different. And she appreciates her. And then she said, I want to make it right with you. Come on, Meredith, give me a hug. And then they talked about her boobs that they grow by themselves or whatever. I guess that was a thing seasons ago. I don't know. Anyway, and that's where the hypocrisy stands with Mary. Mary hugged Meredith, sat back down, and told Angie, you got to make it work with her because I love her. But weren't you the one that almost X Angie out of your life because she went to go see Brittany to see how she was doing? Meredith don't like Angie. Angie don't like Meredith. So why are you telling her to make it right with Meredith? Did you see Angie's face? Angie felt the same way. She was like, okay, but you wasn't going to talk to me for the rest of your life because I went to go see how Brittany was. It wasn't even anything like, whatever. Whatever you thought that it was. It was just me trying to smooth out the situation because she keeps storming off. And I know that's exactly how Angie felt. She was like, what is this hypocrisy, honey? What is this? And then they try to make it light with Robert Jr. and his analogy metaphor of, I felt like unseasoned chicken. Like, it was perfect in like understanding. Like, I felt like unseasoned chicken and the drugs made me feel seasoned. Like, it made me want to do things. It made me want to get through life for that day. So Mary's church is being built. It's finished. She's trying to get them people to come to Christ and away from the Mormons, I guess. I don't know how she have, like, I think it's Episcopal or is it a Baptist church in Mormon country, but she got one, honey. She got one. Can we talk about Whitney's 10? What was that? I don't know. It was every time it bothered me the whole time I was looking at her on the screen. Her and Lisa's 10. It bothered me. What else? I think we're at the end of this, guys. We're at the end of this recap of the reunion, part 2 reunion, and I gave it a 6.5. Lisa is gonna stand on that hill of, sand, that dune that's gonna sink anytime the wind blows, because that's how surface she is. Bronwyn, you have to, if you come back next season, babe, you gotta hold your own, man. You can't, everything replaying, you're gonna have to own what you said, stand on it, or say, yes, I said it, I changed my mind now. Like, you can't, that jewelry thing made you look like a mess. People don't see it for you, Bronwyn. I mean, you came in hot, giving these girls accountability across the board. It's good when you do it, but it's a thing when I do it. Like, we saw that for you, but now, and then you running after Lisa every 5 minutes. That bothered me. You explained it at the reunion, but it bothered me, man. Brittany is coming in the final of this 3-part reunion of Salt Lake City. And Brittany, I don't know. What are you going to bring? Meredith is going to be screaming at you. Mary is going to be looking at you like, girl, go home. And Heather is going to be sitting there like, girl, I tried to save you. I mark my words. That is exactly what's going to happen. This reunion, it's not going to resolve anything between Lisa and Bronwyn, these 3 parts. It's not, because Lisa is on the internet calling her a liar, pants on fire. And the way that she almost probably made that girl lose her job. That woman rode all the way to California and didn't get no commissions. That's probably why that other person, the person that came is not the person they were talking about in part 1, just so we're clear. That jewelry debacle really had you, it got you in a chokehold, babe. I don't know how you're going to come out of that one. I mean, you can. It's really not that serious. They wear fake jewelry in all these franchises and pretend that we don't know that it's not real. Whatever. The fact that Todd could afford it, they need to just mind their tax bracket. How about that? So this is what I devised from this episode, this part 2 episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, honey. Meredith was jealous to death of what Angie and Mary got. She want to know why their relationship couldn't be further, because you're surface, just like Lisa. You and Lisa have a deep relationship. I didn't talk too much about Angie because Angie just kept trying to prove a point. She wasn't really listening to anybody. Her husband was more articulate in talking to Meredith about Brooks and how everyone that heard the podcast, saw the show, felt the same way, that you were trying to use your son to smooth over the bad press that you were getting. It is what it is. That's what most people assumed. I just feel like these ladies they gave us a great season. I don't know what this last episode of the reunion, 3-part reunion, is going to give us. It's not giving me what I thought it was going to give, but I guess Brittany is going to bring it out of them. I hope Brittany brings it out of them. So anyway, guys, again, what are we going to do with these ladies? Ah, gosh. Jeez Louise. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about Meredith being jealous. I feel like she was just so jealous of Angie. So jealous of Angie and Mary's relationship. And I'm glad, I think Angie is happy that the relationship she has with Mary is genuine and it's not fake for the show. Because Mary will put her in her place real quick if you try to use her in any type of way to stay on this show, Angie. Mind yourself. Anyway, guys, well, I'm going to see you in the next one. Keep the conversation going in the comments and let me know what y'all think and let me know what y'all watching. Bye.